I'm Megan Mellon, and this is A Day in the Life. We give you a behind-the-scenes look at people who have some pretty interesting jobs. We're not saying that you don't have an interesting job, but these are just a little cooler. We're breaking our own rules of a day in the life and going with a production in the life of the Ghostlight Players as they prepare for their productions of William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. Here's Liz Berry with your Backstage Pass.
Flute, you must take Thisbe on you.
What is Thisbe? A warrior queen?
It is the lady that Pyramus must love.
Nay, Faith, let me not play that part. I have a headache coming on.
Performing the works of William Shakespeare is a daunting task. Now add the unpredictable outdoor venue offered up by the New England weather and it becomes even harder. That is what the Ghostlight Players did on their opening weekend.
But due to the West Nile virus and Triple E scares, the Ghostlight Players moved their play from out here into the confines of the church.
Mosquito issue with the Triple E and the West Nile. Everyone's asked people doing events to move everything inside.
Inside is where it all started, so it stands to reason that they finished their 2-week performance inside the confines of the First Congregational Church.
So they have to be true, even though they're weird.
Right. So you're kind of buying into it. Yeah, they're weird, but they all tell the same story. Why would they do that if they were making it up? Yeah, so I think Hippolyta's a little bit more romantic in this instance than Theseus, who's being very practical.
The Ghostlight Players are a theater group out of Marlborough that serves the Metro West area. This small group of actors, musicians, directors, and stage crew love theater, and it shows.
We do very simplistic sets. We try and keep our overhead costs very low so that we're not spending a lot of time and effort and money on spectacle, but are more looking for an inspirational and educational experience for everybody involved. And we find that by really focusing on performance, learning acting techniques, as well as keeping things very low cost, we can offer this to the local community very cheaply, which is important to us, but also give them very high quality theater at the same time.
Director Kat Alex Gaudreau and stage manager Kim Marie Boschman have a strong passion for theater as well as a long history of working together in other theater troupes. One reason they came together to form Ghostlight Players was an opportunity to do things their own way.
Kim said to me, you know, we should really do our own theater. We should do our own theater troupe. We should do it our way, which is a little bit simpler and very focused on performance and education, and we should just do it. And I said, well, yeah, that's a great idea, but how are we going to do that? You know, there's so many logistics. Where are we going to do that? And about 2 weeks after we had that conversation, the men's fellowship at the First Church in Marlborough approached Kim, who's a member there, and said, hey, we really want to be more involved in the community. We have this stage, and we hear that you do community theater. Do you want to do community theater here? So she called me and said, hey, we've got a space. This church is willing to have us in, and they're very supportive, and they're very excited, and maybe we could do this. So then we started very seriously talking about it. We brought in our other friend, Cliff Dyke, on board, who we had also done a lot of theater with, and the three of us put our heads together and said, well, let's try something. We're just going to try one performance. We'll do one production, and if it works, we'll do another one.
That first try was a success, so Kat, Kim, and Clive felt good about moving forward. With the production of Almost Maine, the Ghostlight Players were born. One of many interesting facts about them is how they came up with the name of the theater troupe.
We were trying to figure out a way to communicate that mission of sort of down and dirty, very old school theater. And so we started looking at the old vaudevillian troupes and very early Renaissance troupes and kind of what they did and how they did it. We started looking at old school theater terms, and a ghost light is something that exists even today in modern theaters, but it started back before there were electronic lights. And so they would keep a light burning in the theater, usually a small torchlight, burning in the theater, and there were a number of reasons why they would do that. The practical reason was so that no one would walk into the theater and fall off the stage or hurt themselves in the dark because they couldn't turn on a light switch. But it became, because theater types are fairly superstitious, it became sort of a legend of keeping a light burning in the theater to ward off theater ghosts.
Did the bear I hate for thee make me leave thee so?
Okay, pause for just a second. All right, yeah. If you need to, yeah, because he's on your other side. If you need to escape a little bit, go upstage. Exactly. Okay. Yes. Okay, and Paul, try not to push her all the way to the other side of the stage.
There are many steps in creating a successful performance, and it all starts with the auditions, which for this cast was held on a particularly hot day in June. Aspiring cast members read a portion of the script and were judged based upon their readability and acting skills. From there, the director places actors into roles that best fit their abilities and style.
But it's very easy as far as not a lot of pressure, and everybody's very supportive.
Kat gave us different scenes and just assigned roles, you know, somewhat randomly. I imagine she was just sort of trying people out for possibilities. And we sat, and there were 4 or 5 of us up on stage doing the opening scene, which is when Duke Theseus, you know, gets, meets Hippolyta, or, you know, and so on and so forth. So we did that, and then there was a second scene with Oberon and Titania where it's the first scene with Oberon and Titania where they're angry and they're clashing and they're arguing over you know, infidelity and so on and so forth. And then we got to do a different scene where where it was the 4 lovers. It was the point where one of the lovers, they've been ensorcelled and everybody's in love with the wrong person and they're all chasing each other around and around, and she cross-gendered us. I got to play one of the women and women got to play the men, and it was a lot of fun.
Once I've cast the show, I spend a lot of time working through different exercises with my actors. We don't just come in and run the show. We spend a lot of time doing character analysis, we do movement work, we do voice work, I do focus and concentration exercises, I do trust exercises. I do everything I can to build a toolkit for my actors. Because everybody does things a little differently. And some things that work for one person are great, but they don't work for another person. So the more tools that I provide to them, the more likely it is they're going to find one that works for them.
After the roles are filled, the process of rehearsal begins with table reads. A table read is a meeting of the cast to read through the script and try to decipher the text, which can be difficult with a play written by Shakespeare. However, A Midsummer's Night Dream is sometimes regarded as one of the easier Shakespearean plays to understand.
I do think this is one of his easier plays to understand because the plot is a romantic comedy, and we all know what a romantic comedy is like.
This man is Pyramus, if you would know. This beauteous lady, this be is certain. This man with lime and rough cast doth present wall.
After the cast has learned their lines, they must then learn how to create movement that flows with their words. This is called blocking, and the director plays a major part in the process. However, for Kat, she likes to also rely on her cast for inspiration.
Blocking is when, as a director, I give the actors places to go on the stage. I tell them when their entrances and their exits are, and I generally do my blocking very organically. So once we get the, you have to come in here and you have to exit there out of the way, everything in the middle I leave up to them, and then I just give them guidance to try and craft the scene. Sometimes I'll make adjustments based on how the stage looks, if it's a little unbalanced or if things are getting too crowded, I might make an adjustment. But usually I focus on the actor's intent, what the character is doing at that moment, and let that guide the blocking as we move forward.
But as the fierce vexation of a dream.
Okay, pause for just a second. Raj, when you say that bit about that the Athenians all leave, and they think no more upon, what are you really saying there? That he thinks no more upon what?
This.
Right. You don't want him thinking about your wife anymore. So make sure that you're directing that right at him.
Okay.
Because he's the issue.
Okay.
Blocking is really nice because you know where you're going to be going, and then once you're off book, you know, it's so much easier after that, and then so much more freedom.
The wasted brands do glow, whilst the screech owl, screeching loud, puts the wretch that lies in woe in remembrance of a shroud. Now is the time of night that the graves all gaping wide, everyone lets forth his sprites.
Now wait, remember,
This is the spooky time.
Oh, spooky, okay.
Right? This is the witching hour. Okay. This is spooks, spook's, ghosts, and goblins are all coming out. Okay. So like you're telling a ghost story. Okay. Okay?
Now is that time of night, that the graves all gaping wide. Everyone, let's forth the sprites.
Though since we're like starting blocking anything, we're pretty much given the freedom to, do it like the way we want to, and surprisingly, it's funny that way. You just don't expect what the other actors, what they're gonna do, and then if we think it's funny enough, we just like put it right in, and then we work off of that, and then, no, it's gonna look great.
Next comes the run-through stage, which is the cast's last chance to make changes and get all their lines and movements correct.
If you leave the letter T off of things, I can't understand you. So that's for pretty much everybody up there, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The final preparation for the show is Tech Week, which allows the cast and crew members to practice the lighting, sound, and prop arrangements during the show.
Helena and Demetrius, Act 2, Scene 1. Let's start at I love thee not, therefore pursue thee not.
Get thee gone and follow me no more.
You draw me, you hard-hearted adamant, yet you draw not iron, for my heart is true as steel. Leave you your power to draw, and I shall have no power to follow you.
Do I entice you? Do I speak you fair, or do I not, in plainest truth, tell you that I do not, nor I cannot love you?
With one outdoor and one indoor performance under their belt, the Ghostlight players set up for their last day of performing inside the First Congregational Church, which many cast members favored.
It was a challenge outside because with all the fire trucks going by and we had motorcycles going by like crazy, it's a very loud corner and we'd love to be outside, but now it's West Nile virus, so we have to be inside today, but it's great because everybody can hear the show. It's a lot more intimate, so I think people enjoy it better actually inside than outside, even though it's gorgeous out today.
I think it's more intimate setting, so you didn't have to focus so much on projecting your voice against the wind and the traffic and the noise that's all around in the park. So we made a quicker connection with the audience inside, so it was better that way.
Cast and crew worked together on show day to set up the auditorium with lighting and sound equipment.
We're having issues with sound on one side of the stage. I don't know if we have a bad mic cable, so we're just trying to troubleshoot. I think it'd just be easy.
While the audio issues are fixed, we checked in with Danielle Johnson, who composes the entire show. There are 7 instruments that are heard during the production, and she plays them all.
There are times where I'm playing 2 instruments at a time. So,
Where do you learn a talent like that?
Years and years of practice. Years of people saying, you don't know how to play this instrument? Well, you're going to learn how, because in a week you have to learn how to play it perfectly. Everything that has to do with the fairy music has to do with that. So every time they're sprinkling fairy dust anywhere, it's right through here. Piano is all the scene changes today and all the dark Oberon music. The electric violin is for a lot of the dark scenes, especially the dark, creepy music that's going on. The acoustic violin is the happy, energetic fairy music, and then the piccolo and the flute are for the fairies. So, and then there's a trumpet call, and then there's some more sound effects going on. So it's pretty crazy.
As the audience walks through the door, they are asked to donate non-perishable food items to the Marlboro Community Cupboard. Audience members have the option of purchasing premium seating, which places them in the first 4 rows, or free seating.
From table reads to blocking to Tech Week, all of their preparations are finished. Now it's just time for the show.
Now, fair Hippolyta, our nuptial hour draws on apace. 4 happy days bring in another moon. But oh, methinks how slow this old moon wanes. She lingers my desire like to a stepdame or a dowager, long withering out the young man's revenue.
Is all our company here? You best to call them generally, one by one, according to the script. Here is the scroll of everyone's name as thought fit through all Athens to play in our interlude before the Duke and Duchess on on his wedding day at night.
Sometime on fire! And neigh! And bark! And grunt! And roar! And burn! Like horse, hound, dog, bear, fire! At every turn!
Lamenting some enforced chastity. Tie up my love's tongue. Bring him silently.
The intermission gives the actors and crew a little bit of time for a quick break and to reflect on the first half of the play.
That was it. That was the only time. I wasn't sure if I got it the first time. Oh, thank you.
We're trying to give him everything we got.
I missed a line.
You did?
I missed a line, yeah.
Yeah.
Not an important line.
Not a plot line.
No. But, well, a couple less seconds for me on stage. I'll get it right tonight.
Just remember to wait for laughs. Just hold for laughs, because if you do, they will laugh more. But otherwise, just keep going, keep your energy up, have fun out there, because you guys are killing it. You really are. It's awesome. And Kay has asked me to bring you to the hallway. Yes.
By some illusion, see thou bring her here. I'll charm his eyes against you appear.
I go. Look how I go. Swifter than an arrow from the target's bow.
Flower of this purple dye, hit with Cupid's archery, sink an apple of his eye. When his love he doth espy, let her shine as gloriously as the Venus of the sky.
That I sleeping here was found with these mortals on the ground.
No, one of you find out. If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all was mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. And this weak and idle theme, no more yielding, but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. And as I am an honest puck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long. Else, the puck a liar call. So, good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends.
With 3 performances down and 1 more to go, the actors were feeling pretty good.
And I think we've definitely gotten to the play to a point where it's plateaued really nicely for everybody, and everybody's up to the same level of performance, which is really great.
I just get really excited. I want to be out there. I love being out there, and I just can't wait to start.
At first it was nerve-wracking, just because it's just the words, I get them all mushed up together, and then but no, this was fun. Once you actually get the memorization, once you get it all down, it's exciting.
Did you get bitten by the acting bug watching our story? If you want to get involved, you can find out how by going to ghostlightplayers.com. If you have any ideas for future episodes of our show, feel free to contact us by email. And to find out more about WMCT, you can visit us on the web. I'm Megan Mellon. We'll see you next time.